you know. But you got to be humble enough to go with it. Okay? That's the problem. Here's the basic problem in the body. It's the basic problem with all of us. The rebellious spirit is prideful. That's it. That's really it. And that's, again, that's at the core root of all this, of postmodernism, is it feeds that pride. You know, my opinion counts. Dude, it so doesn't count. You know? I had several good workings over on that one, you know. Get over that one real quick and not have to go through the woodshed as many times as I did. Yeah.
What I see in the church is that they don't want conflict. They don't want to deal with anything that might be divisive.
Yes.
They want to make sure that the staff gets paid, the building project gets completed, that everything goes copacetic, and if you stick out like a sore thumb, they'll say, you don't seem happy here.
Yeah. You seem to have a problem. Yes. Again, that's the peacemaker versus the peacekeeper kind of thing. It's also not offending the guy that writes the big check every Sunday. You know, being a people pleaser rather than a God pleaser. Do you know what the highest offense is in our postmodern society now? You pretty much laid your finger on it. What is the greatest, most horrible thing you can be accused of? You've offended me. You've offended me. Oh, you are evil. You have offended me. You know, you may go home and beat your kids and kick your dog, but that's not nearly as bad as having offended me. And this has pervaded the body, and we nurture our offenses. We feed them. We hold on to them and say, that pastor, he offended me. He must not be a very loving man, you know. And we go and tell our friend, that pastor offended me, and he never apologized. Well, did you go to the pastor? Why, no. He ought to know that he offended me. One of my pastors called them flesh-eating sheep. Exactly. You know, I love you, but sometimes I love you with my fist. You know, you got to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable, and you know. So you love them, and you ask them, you know, how is it that you got so smart that you know what God meant to say? You know, because I'm really not that smart. You know, I used to think I was, but I ain't. You know, so if he didn't mean what he says, I'm in deep trouble because I don't know what else it means. You know. What else can you say? Yeah.
When you have trouble with a church relating to them, and they are going down a path that is very seeker-friendly, lowest common denominator, and even into the emergent church kind of behaviors. How do you stick through that? What sort of ideas do you have?
I can't tell you exactly what you do in every church situation when you see it's bad and it's getting worse. To the best of your ability, do it biblically. If you can get a like-minded brother or sister, preferably not a spouse, a like-minded brother or sister, go to the pastor and say, what are we doing here? What's really going on? I love you. I love this body. I love Jesus Christ. I want to. I know. I understand. And at some point, biblically, just like the Bible says, you have to turn them over to Satan. You basically cut them loose. It's
such a mixed bag.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you for sure how to approach that. Love on them the best you can, as long as you possibly can, you know, and when you can't, you can't. Yeah.
You got to realize they're in bondage.
Yes, sir. And blinded and deafened.
Blinded.
Yeah.
And if the pastor
Yes, sir.
disagrees with the board, or the board disagrees,
Yeah.
or somebody disagrees,
Yeah.
somebody's got to go, or the rest have to change. And not
Or the
necessarily that
Spirit
they're
of the
gonna
Holy
change.
God has to come and pierce some hearts.
But
Yeah.
when you read Houses That Change
Yes,
the
sir.
World, you realize
Yeah.
we've got a format that's
Yeah.
got to change. If we want to
Yes.
reach the world for Christ in the next 25 years, it's not going to be with the format we've got now.
Not even close. We do have to reinvent or relearn what church is. You know, and it's been there all along. We just have made something totally different about it.
The best thing that happened in China is when they kicked all the missionaries out
Amen.
of the country, closed all the churches, put the pastors on vacation, and the house church took off like gangbusters.
I haven't quite gotten to the point of praying for that here, but I'm getting a little closer. You know, getting a little closer. Yes.
I noticed a whole bunch of things that you were saying that kind of tie together.
Gee, I hope so. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't trying to be funny or anything, but you talked about how, the postmodernists, their basic premise that they start with is they are a good person,
Yes.
they're trying to do the right thing. And, anything that you do to try and change that, you're evil, you're trying to, put them down or whatever. And you talked about